Hi everybody. Time for another Heart to Heart with Penny. I'm going to just doodle around here just a few seconds because I know there's a time delay in this, and so it takes a few seconds before everybody sees it on their Facebook news feed, and then we'll start talking about the topic I'd like to share with you today. Hang in there with me just a couple more seconds. Okay, hopefully you're on and you can hear me and it's on your feed now. I like to wait just a few seconds because I know there's a time delay. So now you're with me. I'm Penny Hunt, and I do these Penny Heart to Heart and get on every week and talk to you about the blog I wrote and posted this last week. And I wrote one called Nightmare in Paradise. And that sounds like a funny thing, but it wasn't funny at all. My husband and I had planned a vacation in Hawaii for a year. And about a month ago, my husband became very ill and had a reaction to a pneumonia shot and also had a sinus infection, a severe sinus infection. So he was on antibiotics. He was feeling better right before we left. So we went on our trip and he finished his antibiotics while we were, right before we left. And while we got there, about 2 days into our trip, he began spiraling down and became very ill again. We called our physician here at home and said, can you call in a prescription to Hawaii, which they did. So we had to hustle around and find a pharmacy in Hawaii to get his prescription refilled. And that was good. And then I got sick, and it was a nightmare. I ended up with double ear infection, and we had to find a urgent care in Hawaii. It was a Saturday. Took us 3 tries to find one open on Saturday, and found one who diagnosed my ear infections and called in a prescription for me. So once again, we were searching for yet a different pharmacy and filled our cart with tissues and cough drops and all that kind of fun stuff, and went back to the condo we had rented for our vacation in Hawaii and canceled everything. We were going to paddleboard and kayak, and we had a sunset sail booked. Everything got canceled, and we sat in our condo feeling sorry for ourselves, pretty much. And we took turns sleeping and reading, and because we canceled everything, our entertainment became watching out on our deck the geckos chase each other and climb around on the screen, and that became our big Hawaiian adventure, watching geckos. And about 2 days before our trip ended, and we had been in our room about 4 days straight and canceled all of our dinner reservations for these romantic dinners, and we were feasting on cheese and crackers and feeling sorry for ourselves. I said to my husband, what is good about this situation and what is great about our life? And I took out a piece of paper and we started making a list. Now, we're in Hawaii. We're pretty much confined to our room because we both feel so awful. And he can't breathe because of his sinus infection, and I can't hear because I have double ear infection. And we were pretty miserable. But we started this list, and we said, well, we're in Hawaii and we're sick, but at least we had this gorgeous view of the ocean, that we're sitting here watching the geckos and watching the ocean. At least we're together. And we went on with our list. And then we started thinking, we're so lucky that we could find an urgent care for me, that we could get prescriptions filled in Hawaii, that we had the money to pay for that, that we knew our afflictions were not life-threatening. We really were just inconvenienced, and although it was our magical vacation, we weren't going to die from these illnesses that we had, that we would recover, we would feel better. We knew that we had a lovely home to go home to. We had great friends, great family. We have 2 little fur babies at home that we love. And we just kept going on and on with our list until it became pretty funny. And we started laughing and made the best of a pretty bad situation. But we learned, both of us, a lot from that when you feel sorry for yourself, sometimes the best thing you can do is start creating a list like that about what's good about this situation, even if it's the worst situation in the world. I remember, and I allude to my son a lot, but I remember as we were driving to a different state after we got the call that my son had passed away, and you can imagine the turmoil and franticness of the situation. And my husband said to me, and we weren't married at the time, but he said, grab a notebook and let's write down what's good about this. And if you can write down a list of what's good about being in the car, driving to where you just got a call that your son had passed away, and throughout the process of planning a funeral and all that goes along with that, if you can continue that list of what's good about that, you can do it anywhere. So having a cold and a sinus infection and ear infection in Hawaii was really minor. And so it was pretty easy for us to make a list about that. Let me shut my volume off here. I don't know what came on there, irritating in the background. And so we kept creating this list, and all the way home we kept thinking what was good about this, that we could get home, that we would get better. And so it turned out that our nightmare in Hawaii, we really try to be cognizant that it wasn't Hawaii, that we know Hawaii is a lovely place, a beautiful place. We will go back. We will have great vacations there, that we didn't want to taint our feeling about Hawaii because this was happening to us at that time. And so we really made an effort to hone in on what the problem was, that it was fixable, that we would get through it, and that there would be other occasions to enjoy Hawaii and enjoy vacations, and that there was a lot of good that was happening during the process of our nightmare in paradise. Now, we're still sad that we missed out on a lot of things, and that happens a lot in life. Sometimes we don't get to do everything that we want to do. We don't get to experience everything that we want to experience, but there's always good in everything. So no matter how bad, how frustrating, how terrible you think the situation is that you're in right now, there's good about the situation. And this can relate to so many things. Maybe you've lost a job, or you've been fired or laid off, or something happened and you think it is the end of the world, and you have bills to pay and rent to pay or a mortgage to pay and groceries to buy, and how are you going to get through it? And then years later, when you look back and you're in the job that you love, and you realize if that hadn't happened, if you hadn't lost that job, you would not have been led to the job that you love. And so there's always good about every situation. There's always good. And remember, the biggest lesson that I learned from our nightmare in paradise is that it's hard to be down when your list of blessings keeps adding up. Think about that. If you can make a list of what you have in your life that is your blessings, that are your blessings, and how long that list can be, it's hard to be down. So whenever you're having a bad day, whenever you're down, whenever you're feeling sorry for yourself, if you can come up with your gratitude lists and be thankful and just keep listing and saying out loud if possible. I always say that that energy goes out into the universe, so the more you can say out loud what you're thankful for, the better you're going to feel. Because if you're just saying this and replaying this in your mind, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for my friends, I'm thankful for my health, I'm thankful for having a roof over my head and food to eat, it's hard to be down when you just keep pushing gratitude through your mind. I do this in my car a lot. get in my car, and some friend of mine once said, I saw you singing in your car the other day, and if anybody knows me, I don't sing. You don't want to hear me sing. But I was saying my gratitude list in my car, because a car is a great place. You're enclosed. Nobody can hear you. You can shout it out there to the universe and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I always start out with, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for my husband. Thank you for my kids. I list all my grandkids. I list everything I can think of. Thank you for the burger I had for lunch. Whatever it is, even if it's the simplest things. If you think you have nothing, if you just say, thank you for the shoes that I have to wear today. Thank you for letting me stand upright today, because some people can't. And just start with the simplest things, and pretty soon your mind is like a computer. It will start clicking and trying to search for what you're thankful for. And that gratitude list will grow. So it's hard to be down when your list of blessings keep adding up. So I learned that in a really unique way during my nightmare in paradise. We're home now, and we're both feeling better. We still have a little residual blockage in my ear and a few things, but it's getting better. And I feel so much better than both of us did a couple weeks ago. So it was a learning experience, as everything in life is. And I'm grateful to be home. I'm grateful for the experience, because we learned so much from it. And I'm grateful to be able to share it with you here today. So I hope if you haven't read that blog, the link is always up above on These Heart to Heart, so you can go on my website and read it. And I always have audio there, so you can listen to it, and you will hear. I'm still pretty congested when I did the audio, but that's okay. Kind of goes along with the piece. And I invite you to read it, and I hope you take something from it, and I hope you learn to add up your blessings so that you lift yourself up from those times that life doesn't seem so good. Thank you for joining me today. I try to keep these pretty short so I don't take up much of your day. I'm Penny Hunt, and this has been Heart to Heart with Penny. Go out there and make it a grand day. Thanks for joining me.